Cry Gladys Country Park is a heavily wooded hillside park with a network of paths crisscrossing it, some on the flat and some quite steep, going up to beautiful views, rocky outcrops, some lovely stream and waterfalls running through it. Some of the monuments that we've got in the park have been uncovered, but I would say some of them have always been very visible, like the engine house, which is quite large and imposing. Some of the others, like the smithy, probably would have gone unnoticed.
So what we wanted to do here is to work with local young people on the heritage assets of the Neath Valley. And there's lots of buildings in Neath Port Talbot and in South Wales which are on the at-risk register, historic buildings. So what we need are skills. We need young people to develop those skills, and the smithy site here, the ruin behind us, has served really as the perfect place in which we can explore how we develop skills amongst young people in the region.
Well, as you can see, the stonework for there, well, we've been digging out the grounds and stuff, clearing all the debris, been using lime, like old gravelly sand, stone. I think it's important because of it's Welsh history, isn't it? It's all part of our ancestry and stuff. So I think it's very important in that sort of respect. I wouldn't mind doing it for the rest of my life as a job.
We've been doing some walling and some excavating, and we found like quite a few bits of metal. We think this is like a river that's used to like on the tram beds or something, and then we think this is a tether loop, so when the horses would come in, they'd get tied. This would be to the wall and they'd get tied onto there. And if we didn't keep our historic buildings preserved, we wouldn't know nothing about our historic life. It's quite interesting if we keep them up to date as well. I'd like to take it on as my next thing on my course.
They really enjoyed it. It's brought out skills that they didn't know they had, and obviously interest as well. Mostly the work that they do is sort of structured and is part of a unit and course. With this, they use their imagination and their own sort of from within on what to do, so it sort of brings out sort of the artistic flair in them.
The amount of assets we've got in NPT CBC is huge. They all need renovating, they all need work, so we are developing skills which will have an immediate impact on those assets. That's what we're hoping. The way of making our assets sustainable is by obviously building the skills and supply chain locally, whereas we bring in specialists from perhaps sometimes all over the UK, sometimes from Europe, to try and work on our local assets, which is an expensive way of doing it. We develop this supply chain of local talent, local skills, and also the procedures that can make us sustainable and make our assets sustainable, so we can just self-repair. The importance of involving young people in this procedure is it gives them a different career option. It gives them a great skilled career option with great chance of advancement, fulfilling a sort of a really interesting, a really progressive and a really productive career. I come from construction industry background myself. I still get pleasure of passing work that I did 40 years ago. Perhaps I don't look old enough, but I am. But yeah, that pleasure of walking past, looking up and saying, oh, well, I did that and it's still there. So I'm hoping that these youngsters will get that feeling of satisfaction as well.
Haven't done anything like this before, so it's been good learning new skills and getting to actually get hands-on rather than just learning about it in a classroom.
Been doing planning, digging, understanding the structures. It's been really interesting.
Yeah.
Definitely something wouldn't have done without having this opportunity then. It's really interesting because I've walked up here hundreds of times with the dog and I've never just noticed taking a moment in to understand the history of the community then. Yeah. Didn't realise it was right on my doorstep.
I think this project's been hugely successful. I mean, Swansea University is absolutely delighted at the opportunity to work with partners. You can see that building behind us has gone from being something that was covered over with bushes and shrubs to something that's been cleared back. We've done all the archaeological recording and we've stabilised some of the ruin here. So we're maintaining this structure for the benefit of the park and for the benefit of the wider community. Historic buildings play such an important part of the way we think about place. and community. They're part of the fabric of the world that we live in. So looking forward, we've got a really exciting opportunity to develop the partnership, to take it further, to work on more historic assets, to develop more skills and to celebrate place.